without having great credit. So, two questions. If money wasn't a concern, what would life look like for you? Stress free, right? It would look great. It would look stress free. So, what changes are you willing to make to get closer to that? And there's a hush over the room. Change habits, right? Okay. So, I'm going to tell you really quickly about the financial house. You have income protection, which is your foundation. That's insurance. People do not like talking about insurance until insurance becomes the topic. That's why GoFundMe accounts are winning because you didn't prepare. Now you're going to go up, open up a GoFundMe account. Please help me, in this case, to bury my family member because I have no money. And a lot of people have the mentality, older people had the mentality of, I'm not leaving no money for those people to get rich while I'm gone. But that's not the case. Insurance is responsibility. Insurance is making sure that if God forbid something happens to you, your people that you have, your children, your husband, your wife, whomever, does not have to change their lifestyle because we didn't prepare properly. And most people think I have insurance on my job. That's not enough. It's good, but once you separate yourself from that job, that insurance that you was only paying $8 for now quadruples. And then you have to get insurance at the age where you're at, which also is going to cause it to double. So you have to be wise, and there's so many different types of insurances, but we won't have that conversation. Emergency fund. How many of you have an emergency fund? What's the rule of thumb for an emergency fund? Say it. 3 to 6 months of your recurring expenses. That's like your rent, your mortgage, light bill, whatever you have to pay every month to make sure that you have a place to lay your head and get to and from. You need to have 3 to 6 months of that saved. So if something was to happen, at least you know 3 to 6 months, I got it. Most people don't have it. Most people don't have $1,000 in the bank to save that they don't have to touch. Next is debt reduction. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then both Paul and Peter are broke. Then what do? Right? So the Bible says that we are to owe no man but to love, right? So as long as we owe people, we are in bondage. Okay? As long as somebody's hand is in your pocket, when you get paid, we are in bondage. Now, I'm not talking about the cars or the houses. Those are things that we have to pay for because we have to live, we have to move, right? But I'm talking about the Victoria's Secrets, the J.C. Penney's, the Visas that we don't really need, those type of deals. Then you have your investments. One thing that our community does not do is we do not look into investments. We do not look at doubling our money. We think that putting our money in a savings account, that's the win-all. But 15 years in Wells Fargo, I've been in finances for over 20-some-odd years. You look at a percent, a half a penny on the money that you're putting in a bank. And what the bank is going to do is take your money and loan it out to someone else and loan it out over and over and over again, and they make the money while you sit and earn a penny on the dollars that you have. Most of us don't know that you can go in and get a money market account. You can open up Roth IRAs for little to nothing to be able to save your money. But we don't save because we want to live for today. We want to live the best life right now. We want to roll it up right now. But then when something happens, something little like a tire or something goes out, we have nowhere to go to get the money. And we're trying to figure it out, right? Then last thing is your goals and your dreams. What we do is we reverse it. We want our goals and our dreams now, and we'll save later. That's kind of backwards, right? So that's our financial house. How many of you have all of these structures in place that you're confident about? Ain't nobody gonna talk to me, but it's okay. I'm gonna still ask questions. Okay, so this is gonna be real quick. Something very easy. Good debt versus bad debt. Good debt increases your net worth. That's real estate, that's land. Bad debt is something that's always gonna take away from your net worth. One thing that's bad debt, but we need it, a car. Drive it off, and it's not worth the money that you spent, right? It automatically depreciates. but we still need it. Now, the type of car we have, that's another question. But we have good debt and we have bad debt, and there's 4 different types of debt: secured, unsecured, revolving, and installments. Whenever you have a credit report, you need to have 3 of these, at least 3. We know secured is for those people that want to be able to rebuild their credit, but they may not be able to outright qualify for a credit card. So you take the money that you have in your savings account, give it to the bank and say, look, trust me, I have $300. Can you take my $300, make that my credit limit, and turn that into a secured? And then they will watch you pay. And if you pay consistently, you do a good job, then they'll say, hey, congratulations. We don't need to use your money anymore. Take it back. Now here's a card for $1,000, unsecured. Let's put. That's a perfect way to rebuild your credit. $100, opened up a credit card, took another $1,000, opened up a secured loan, paid for it every month. Then I also charged things that I knew that I could pay off at the end of the month. That increased my credit, increased my habits, and then they gave me what I needed for free, right? And gave me my money back. Then you have unsecured. That's when you can go and just get a credit card or whatever without it being secured, whatever the credit limits are. Most people get a credit card and they're like excited because they got a credit card. But what they don't know is that you're not supposed to spend over 30% of that credit limit. If you spend over 30% of that credit limit, they consider you a bad risk, right? And if you spend over 30% of that credit limit, then guess what? That's going to cause you headaches because you want to know how to pay it off. You have revolving, exactly what it is. As long as I pay it, I'll have it. You pay it off, get back in debt. Pay it off, get back in debt. Then you have the installment loans. Those are your mortgages. Those are the fixed payments. All good so far? All good so far? Okay. All right. Common debt traps. High interest loans. We get those loans because our credit is not so good. So instead of getting a 3% interest, now we're getting a 30%. Credit card debt. You only need to really have one major credit card. One major credit card that's accepted everywhere, right? You don't need the JCPenney cards. You don't need the Victoria's Secrets. When they walk up to you and they say, you know what, if you buy this today, you can get 10% off if you fill out this application. You don't need it. Those are called boutique credit cards. They don't add, but they can't take away. They don't report to the credit when you're doing well, to the credit bureaus when you're doing well. But one time you miss that credit payment, now Victoria's Secrets is reporting to your credit report. So you have to be careful with what you use. And if you can get away with just one major credit card, one, you can't rent a car with a debit card. Why? Because they're going to hold up all your money in the bank. $500 hold. And then they release it when they want to. Okay, so you have one major credit card. Next is lack of financial literacy and planning. We don't know. You will only grow towards the ceiling that you have, right? So if my mother didn't know about money, my mother would teach me to the point that she knew. She taught me to the point that my grandfather knew. My grandfather knew about putting money underneath the jar, underneath the bed, and that's how they saved their money. So that's how my mother learned. So when I came around, that's what I learned. Until I got to a point where I was like, there's got to be more to this money game. Why am I out here working and these other clear people are out here on the jet skis and doing whatever they need to do? There is a challenge, right? But with our community, as women, we need to be financially literate. We need to be able to make those decisions that we need to do because we're living longer. We have to care for households. We have to care for family, right? And things can happen. So if nothing else that you get from here today, get that you have to understand finances. Gone are the days that you say, listen, I'm just going to live and work and do what I want to do. We're not in here. We're not in that climate. The way 1600 is operating, we have to be the help that we need because it's not coming to us, okay? And then overspending. How many of y'all heard of retail therapy? Oh, Lord, I'll feel better if I just go get them shoes. We can't do that. We all want to look good, but you can look good on a budget. Nobody ever has to know, right? But we have to be wise about what we do. We don't need everything. How many of us have 10, 15, 20 pair of shoes? And then there's some shoes sitting in the closet because you haven't worn them, right? Or those people that have clothes that say, I'm going to get into them clothes one day. So it's overspending. There's a difference between treating yourself and rewarding yourself and overspending. So what I'm saying is you work hard, you need to treat yourself, but at the same time, you need to have wisdom. God gave us a charge to be good stewards. We're not a good steward if we go and we spend stuff and we know if I buy one more black dress, because that was me. I love black. My mother, before she passed away, was like, girl, if you bring one more black dress in this house. And I didn't need it. Then to look in the closet and like, oh my God, here's something that still got a tag on it. That's overspending, right? And then lastly is consistently making minimum payments. We fall into that minimum payment trap. All I got to do is pay $25 on a $10,000 balance. I'm going to pay $20 a month. Your children's great-grandchildren are going to be still paying that debt. Or now people are going to the fast food restaurants and buying fast food on credit cards with a 23% interest. Okay, so y'all get the gist, right? What happens when you pay the minimum? I'm going to do this real quick. Somebody said nothing. I like that. Okay, so you have a credit card balance, $5,000, 18% interest, 18 cents on the dollar. Minimum payment is $125 a month. The time that you're going to pay it off in 5 years, you pay $2,200 in interest. They love you. They want you to keep paying that way. Add one extra payment of $50 a month, pay it off in 3 years, save $800 in interest. There is a gain to money. And in our community, we're not winning. And we should be winning. Because if we pulled our money and stopped our money, the economy would feel the hurt. We spend the most, right? But our knowledge on finances is not where it should be. Power of mortgage. How many of you have a mortgage payment or thinking about having a mortgage payment? You can send in an extra $50 a month, extra $100 a month, pay off your loan, your mortgage 5 years early, save $60,000 in interest. Or you can take your mortgage and divide it in half, pay it biweekly. The first 15 days of the month is all your interest is being accrued. So if you pay half of it in the first 15, that payment is going directly to interest. You take the next half, guess where it's going? To principal. And then if you feel great, add an extra $50 to $100 to that, and that's going to take money off. So that will also decrease, and you can save 4 to 5 years on a 30-year mortgage. Little things. Okay, last one that I'm going to talk about with debt is the avalanche method and snowball method. Have you guys ever heard of that with paying off your bills? No, you have. Somebody said snowball. What you know about snowball?
It had a list where you put your bills, all your bills on it, from the lowest to the highest, however many bills you got, and then you start paying off the smallest one. You pay off the $10 bill, some old bill you got, pay that one off. Then you go next and you got the $50 one, pay that one off. And you keep going and keep going and keep going. Even though you might have like a $100,000 something or whatever, you just keep paying something on it until it's gone.
You want to come teach with me? Okay. That's basically what it is. I'm gonna talk about avalanche first. Those people that are concerned with interest rate, you have some people that are absolutely positively concerned with the bills that accrue interest, highest interest. So with the avalanche method, what's your name, beautiful? Wajida. Okay. So you have all of your high interest bills, all your high interest credit. You put it all in a line, as she so eloquently said, and you start focusing on paying off the interest, the ones with the high interest rate, while you're paying off the rest of the bills. That's the key. But if interest rate is not bothering you, because it didn't bother me, all I wanted to do was pay off my bills. I do the snowball method. Same thing. You take, first of all, how many of you have all of your bills written down somewhere? Great. How often do you? Every 2 weeks? Okay. You have to have all of your bills. I go to client's house and I'm like, who do you owe? And they start pulling out receipts here, and I think I owe this, and I think I owe that. If you don't know what you owe and don't know where your money is going, that's the big problem right there. So when you have the snowball method, you're taking all of your bills from the highest to the lowest. If the bill is $20 and the balance is $30, you pay off the bill that has $30, take that $20. $20 is not free because you have 10 other hands waiting. Take that 20, add it to maybe the $50 payment that you have on the next bill. Now, instead of 50, you're paying 70. Continue that cycle, and that payment that you once had that just started with $20 will now snowball to something bigger to help you pay off your debt faster. Why I tell my clients to do that is because when you have small rewards, it reinforces the habit for you to continue. So if I paid off that one small bill, I'm happy. Now I'm excited to pay the next bill and the next bill. I carry debt from college. I graduated from FAM. I love FAM. Great education. But I carried bills until somebody stopped me. And the bills that I carried all the way from college, I was able to get rid of them in 6 to 8 months. Now, what happens is you still go ebbs and flows. It goes up and it goes down, right? Sometimes you're great. Next time you're good. Next time you're not. But if you have these principles, it's easier for you to snap back, okay? Now, with me, I had a 6-figure job. 6-figure, 5-figure bonus when I was district manager of Wells Fargo. I was doing great, loving it, didn't have not one bill. Then when they decided we needed to displace and reorganize some things, I was the one that they decided to displace, right? You don't anticipate that. It took me rock bottom, even though I was still getting paid. Still took me rock bottom because I still had a home, just got my car, and it's just me. So what am I going to do? Had these principles, had the biblical principles, put it all together, and I was able to make it. Does things always stay that way? No. Will you still have times where the carpet is pulled from underneath you? Yes. But if you have these principles and you understand that money is going to do what you assign it to do, you'll be able to get yourself back up, okay? This is a recommended budget. How many of you have a budget? Started. Budget is almost like diet. Nobody don't want to talk about a diet. That means I can't eat cake. I can't do this. I can't do that, right? A budget does not have to be restrictive. Just because you make it doesn't mean you have to spend it, right? So I call it a savings plan. So recommended budget, 10%, we already know that. That's biblical. That's downright. I don't care if I got nothing but $5, right? You're going to pay your 10%. Needs, 40%. 40% of your income should go towards your needs. That should encompass your living, car, the whole 9. 30% is wants. There's a difference between needs and wants. There's a difference between needs and wants. Okay? I need this, but I want them shoes. I need them shoes because it's going to go with this dress that I got. That's the difference. So you have to start prioritizing, right? So after you pay 30% on your wants, 20% should go to savings. You got to start saving money. You have to start saving money. We cannot keep walking around with a broke savings account. Because if something happens, where you going to go? What you going to do? I always tell people after you pay your tithes 10%, pay 10% to yourself. Then put 10% in an investment vehicle that's going to earn your money back. That's how we win. We don't win by doing what my mother used to do, susus. And what susus was is, you know, everybody put money in the pot, then it go around, and finally it come your turn. They still do that, you know. You have to be able to start saving your money. I'm passionate about this because I've been broke. I know what it feels like. And it's not good to stay there. And how we change is by actually taking information like this and using it. We have so much money in our community amongst each other that we don't ever have to go to a bank to do anything. If everybody does what they need to do personally, we'll be able to give more. So it's not about living for today as much as it is about living 2-3 steps ahead. Okay? And with the way, again, I will emphasize, there are things that are being cut that has never been cut before. And if you don't actually put the finances in place, you're going to find yourself on the opposite end. Credit. How many of you know what your credit score is? How many of you happy with where your credit score is? Working on it. I like that. My credit was 486. Everybody, when last time I said that, the whole room sucked all the air. All the air came out of the room. So what? It was 486. It was bad, right? Don't even put your name on it. Don't even pick up the application because they ain't gonna say yes. That's how bad it was for me, right? But this credit thing right here, you can change it. Because when you're on one side, it was like, don't even think about the application. Then when you get on the other side, you could pick up the phone and say, Ms. Guthrie, I need this amount of money. Ms. Guthrie's like, hold on. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. Call me back in 15 minutes. She says, what account do you want the money placed into? That's good stuff. That's how the clear people live. And y'all know what clear mean. Okay, so, but it depends upon the credit. People are living like you don't need credit. You need credit. So, credit history, this is important for you to know because everybody thinks that a credit is if I don't pay my bills on time, that's it. But it's so much more than that. You have your credit history, how long you've opened your credit, how you've paid, and how you've managed. That's a big chunk of it. Then you have capacity. You may have great credit history, but bad capacity. That means the ability to pay your bills. And even if you have great credit history and a bad capacity, you can still get declined. Collateral. If you can't pay me, do you have something that I can take? Basically what it is, right? And then capital is how much money. Do you have that amount of money saved up, or do you have any savings at all? They want to see, are you just relying upon somebody else's money, or do you actually have money on your own? And then conditions, which is the hard part, because conditions mean the type of environment that you're in that can affect the way you make your money. So if you have someone that's ill, am I able to, I may have to call out because the person I have to take care of. So that basically means that's one day of pay I'm not going to get, right? Conditions, what conditions or what economic barriers are surrounding you that prevent you from working? So credit history, capacity, collateral, capital, and conditions. Why we don't win is because when we talk about stuff like this, people tune out. But this is what the other folks know. That's why they keep getting anything they want to get. That's why they can go into a bank and get a $100,000 loan in 5 minutes, because they understand how the game is played. We, if it don't have music to it, it don't have a rhythm, don't have a beat, we don't want it. Nobody in this room, but I've been around enough and doing this enough to understand that this type of stuff is boring to people. But to me, it's thriving. Why? Because I want to get better with what I have and what the Lord allows me to have, right? Your number matters. What I told y'all my credit score was. Y'all see that black line down there? They ain't even put 400 on there. They just put the less than sign. I was less than, according to this, right? But the highest score is 850. By the time I got ready to get my house, mind you, I was here where it says worse. Right there, y'all can't see that little green thing. But anyway, where it says worse, that's where I was. By the time I got ready to get my house, I closed my house in 45 days, which is unheard of with some people. An order, right? So what you have to do is make sure that if the highest is 850, there's somebody that got 850. How they get it? Because that's what I want. I'm tired of being around the people that's around the purple and the gray, and they sitting around eating crab trays. That's not going to get me up here to 850. Okay? They said if you want to make $1 million, you got to hang out with somebody in $1 million. If I want to keep my dollar, I'm going to hang out with the person that keep $1. So it's your mindset. The financial game is more mindset than it is anything else. If you are okay with where you are, that's good. But if you want better because God promises us better, then you're going to do the things that you need to do, even if it sounds boring. All right. FICO. How many of y'all heard about FICO? What does it mean? Just like FICA. I had one client, I promise, I thought it was a joke until somebody actually said it to me. They didn't know who FICA was that took money out their check every 2 weeks. Who is FICA? I thought it was a joke, but it was someone. It was an older person, but it's all good. I want y'all to walk away and know what FICO is. And do know that this is actually changed. Okay? So these are all the components that make up that 3-digit number, that 3-digit number. This is what makes it up. You have 35% of your FICO score, of your Beacon score, of your credit score, consists of payment history. 30% is credit utilization. How much do you owe? Debt to income ratio. 15% is how long you had credit. 10% is how many times you said, go ahead and pull my credit so I can see if I can get that credit card. Don't let nobody pull your credit. Oh, it's just a soft pull. Don't let nobody pull your credit unless you're going for something that they need to pull. And then watch it. And then if you're going somewhere and they need to pull your credit, try to pull the credit all on the same day because it won't count. If you go and get your credit pulled for maybe this is hypothetical, a mortgage and a car, do it all on the same day because it's one hit. If you go get it a mortgage and then Tuesday you go get a car and then Wednesday you get something else, you're taking your credit score down. One inquiry can reduce your Beacon score by 20 to 40 points. And people do not realize that. Every time you put somebody to pull your credit and pull out applications, you are damaging your Beacon score. That's why, no, I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, just don't do it. 10% credit mix. How is it mixed? Do you have an installment loan? Do you have a fixed loan? Do you have a secured loan? Do you have an unsecured loan? So the biggest is the payment history, but 10% is your mix. So if y'all don't take anything else from me today, please remember this. Cool beans? Okay. What questions you guys have about debt? Because I'm going to run through this really quickly. Financial literacy, questions. Keep it in your head. Oh, she's so pretty. How many of you are working? How many of you plan to retire? How many have already retired? Oh, that's good. What did I feel like? What is it? So I'm going to touch on this real quick because everything that I talked about in the beginning about paying your debt and about getting your credit together leads you to have a better retirement. If I had known about this when I was in my 30s, I probably would say I'm 56 and retired. But I didn't know, right? So I'm going to show you guys this. By the time you're 30, you need to have 1 time of your income saved. So if you're making $40,000 to $50,000, that means you're bringing home almost maybe, 35, 38, something like that a month. So in order for you to prepare, by age 30, you have 1 times your income saved. By age 40, 3 times. Age 50, 6. By the time you're 60, 8 times. And by the time you're 67, which is retirement age, you need to have 10 times your income saved. How are we doing? This is reality that we don't know, which goes all the way back to the conversation that I had about emergency funds and saving. We're not going to get here. The good part about it is that it's never too late. You can always save. But if you don't start, you're going to be forever working. The one thing that I think about a lot when my mother passed was I helped my mother with everything, with getting out of debt, insurance, the whole nine. The one thing that I did not know because I couldn't teach her was about saving money. So my mother never understood not being able to work hard before she passed away. She didn't get a chance to understand that, of what it meant not to have to go to a job. So if anybody asks what's the fuel and the passion behind this, it's that. And the reason why they couldn't is because they didn't save. We have many hats. We ask the question, how do I take care of myself? Who's going to take care of me? 38% of the women feel less confident about retirement due to the pandemic. Now, a lot of times people don't even talk about retirement, but you know you're in pre-retirement now if you're working. And you have to start making those moves. 43% of women identify themselves as the sole or main breadwinner, the person that's going to be bringing in the most money, right? So that's why it's important for us to have to be able to try to put ourselves together at some point. One thing that we do know, and if y'all don't pay attention to anything else, what's going to go up? Taxes, definitely. We talk about Medicare. Medicare is not something y'all can say, I ain't going to be on Medicare. Yes, you are. You can't get out of it. If you ever decided that you want to not take Medicare, then be prepared to pay for every ounce of Social Security that you've ever earned from the time you started working. They want their money. That ain't going to work. The sad part about it is that the cost of living, Medicare costs and healthcare costs, is exceeding the cost of living. So if you don't have long-term care in place, something you need to think about. Now I'm going to give you this real quick. Liquid growth and safety. If y'all don't write nothing down, write this down. You're supposed to have your money in 3 different vehicles. One that's liquid, one that has growth, and one that has safety. Now let me put this caveat on there. If you're not paying your bills on time, and if you're not reducing your debt, and you're overspending, you're not going to have money to put your money in these buckets. So why is Ramona talking about retirement here? Because it's all tied together. The habits that we exercise today are going to show forth when we get older. So when you look at growth, growth is basically money that grows. Safety is having your money in those options that's actually going to provide you safety against, like, if, I just keep saying 1600, I won't refer to him the way I normally do. If something in 1600 says something, all he has to do is say a bad word, stocks go down. Right? You have to have your place in somewhere safety where no matter what he says, my money is safe. And then you have to have something liquid, which means if I need to get access to $5,000, $2,000, $3,000, I can go and I can get it. You need to have these 3. Does everybody in here have your money in these 3 vehicles? All 3, not just one. Tell you something else. We have 3 buckets. You have tax deferred, taxable, and tax free. How many of you know about these 3 buckets? Tax deferred, taxable, and tax free. This is how we're saving our money. Our money is either being tax deferred, it's either in a taxable vehicle, or is it either in a tax-free vehicle? Tax deferred is basically means you're kicking the can on paying your taxes down the road. I'm gonna have to pay taxes on this money, but I got it in this vehicle right now. I don't have to pay taxes. But when I get ready to get the money, I'm 30, I got my money in this tax deferred vehicle. By the time I get to 60 when I want to retire, I don't have to pay taxes while I have it when I'm in 30. But guess what? Oh, my phone. But guess what happens when you get to 60? All that taxes that was accrued since here at 30, you're going to have to pay it when you get to 60. We'll get to that. I ain't going to get into all of it because I don't have that much time. But your traditional 401ks, how many of you have a 401k? Okay. That's a perfect example of a tax deferred. You're saving your money while you're working. When you get ready to get that money out of retirement, then whatever you have saved up, you have to pay taxes on. My one client had $973,000, almost $1 million in her 401k. She's a bad woman because of the way she saved her money, but it's in a tax-deferred vehicle. So by the time she gets ready to take that money out, can you imagine what her taxes are going to be? Okay? But this is stuff we don't know because there are people putting their money in their 401k and they're matching it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand what you're doing. And again, it may not be the most exciting topic in the world, but when it hits you, you're going to remember this conversation that we're having today. So when you have it in tax deferred, you have one tax break, which means the tax break that you have up here. But then they're going to tax you 4 different ways when you get ready to take that money out. Any type of money that you withdraw from the 401k, do you know people that withdraw money from their 401k? I was one because I had to live off of it. Had no other choice, right? Now my income has just shot up, put me in a whole nother different income bracket, which means I pay more taxes. They tax you that way. That's number one. Number two, any type of withdrawal is added to your Social Security. So now they're taxing you on your withdrawals, and now they're going to tax you because of Social Security. Second, Medicare premiums. Can't get away from Medicare. So they're going to tax you on that. And then lastly, IRMA, which we will not talk about. But IRMA is not the lady that lives next door, but is the one that's actually going to take a lot of your money. So what you have right here in the 401k may save you money right now, but you're going to get taxed on that money 4 different ways. So taxable bucket, where most of us have our money, we have brokerage accounts, bank accounts, that's the CDs. CDs have been around for a long time, right? Money market accounts, real estate. That's taxable buckets. So if you have your money in stocks, bonds, savings, CDs, that's a taxable bucket. Tax-free bucket is where you want your money. Tax-free bucket, did you know that there is a Roth-like 401k? A Roth-like 401k. When you have a Roth IRA, that basically means that it takes your money, pre-tax money, right? So you don't have to pay taxes on it afterwards. They have a 401k like that, but your employer is not going to tell you that. But now you know. Exactly. Now you know. So now you can go to your employer and your HR department and say, do y'all have a 401k that works like a Roth IRA? And they're going to say, I'm so glad you asked. Start shifting some of that money over into that so that we still have a 401k, but guess what? Now you have some of it growing tax-free. So if you have a job, when you're working, go to your HR department Monday. Start saving money now. Okay? So Roth IRA, this is where you need to have your money. There are insurance policies that do this. What do they call life insurance? Life insurance. It does not mean that you cannot benefit from life insurance while you're alive. People don't know that. All they know is term and whole life. I got term. I get a whole bunch for a whole little. But when that term runs out, you paid all your money into it, just like an apartment. You paid all that money into that apartment, made somebody else's pockets get fat, which is not a problem because I did it for a long time. But then at the end of that lease, you have nothing to show for it. That's term insurance. If you need it, great. But that's not the best. Whole life, pay on that insurance your whole life. Bills cash value, not a lot, very minuscule cash value. How many of you have ever heard of those? Never heard of it. You have it? Heard of it. Index Universal Life. That's what they call a LURP. That protects your money when you're saving. That's one vehicle that no matter what the orange man says in 1600, your money will not be affected. You put your money into IUL, you can save your money and at the same time have a death benefit. And when you get to a certain age, you can now turn on that money for income, where you can experience that money while you're living and still be growing a death benefit for while you're gone. There are so many different tax structures and different things that you're able to do that we need to know how to do. Once you know better, what happens? So if after this, y'all didn't take away one or two nuggets, I know it wasn't rah, 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 rah. But I guarantee you, if you go and take away and put two things, implement two things, you'll be grateful that you came. Mental health, finances, two things, implement, and you'll come out on top. If you don't define where your money goes, you'll wonder where it went. How many say I just got paid on Friday? I don't know where my money went. All right, so step one, what you should do, reevaluate where you are. Seriously. Reevaluate where you are. Where you have to reevaluate yourself mentally, finding out those triggers. I know what my triggers are, and I deal with them. I'm in the gym at morning for an hour. That's my decompressing. 7 days a week, yeah, you know me. Okay? And I teach my clients to do the same. So as you reevaluate yourself mentally and what you need to do, you need to help get rid of that stressor and start handling yourself financially because you need money. Black women are strong in so many different aspects. We are the backbone of so many different things. And we need to make sure that finances is one of them. And if that means you have to sit here and I'm going to make myself better for it, then that's what I'm going to do. So after you reevaluate it, if you have questions, my goal, my motto that I tell my clients when I train them at the gym, do today what others won't, so you can do tomorrow what others can't. Make the investments, make the changes. If you have any questions about anything, or even if you just want, send a QR code, give me your information, and I'll talk to you more about it. But if anything, start your savings account, write down your bills, and start finding ways to actually start getting more money back into your account, into your life, and be a little bit better. All right.
Let's give our facilitators a hand again. We thank y'all for coming out this morning. I don't know about everybody else, but I did learn. One question I wanted to ask you, when you was talking, I remember my mom did that. My brother told her about it when she was purchasing her house, that if she added an extra $5 or $10, when she make her payments, that she would pay off the house early, and she did. She paid it off within 5 years earlier than what she was supposed to pay. But when you in our age, I guess I'm probably the oldest, about the oldest one, 72, and you didn't have all this to say, okay, I need to put my money this place and that place. What about the older ones that don't have money like that now? I don't retired and all this, so I'm getting my retirement and Social Security. So what do we do? There are different ways that you can restructure a lot of things. Age doesn't really matter. Anyone has any questions that you want to ask? No? Okay. Well, like we said, we thank you again for our two ladies that came out. At this time is our a fellowship time to eat. You're welcome to come forth and encourage. We're going to pray over the food. Sister Beverly, if you would please bless the food for us, I would appreciate it.